Good morning. If you are able, please rise for the processional.
Please be seated. Please be seated. Thank you. My name is Scott McQuilkin, Whitworth University president, and it is my privilege to welcome you to Whitworth University's 134th Undergraduate Commencement Ceremony celebrating the graduating class of 2024. It is great to see all of you here to support these remarkable graduates. Well, family and friends, we also want to thank you for making the efforts to be here today. You bless us and these graduates with your presence. So please join me as they march out in thanking the Angus Scott Pipe Band for their musical accompaniment for the processional. Leading the processional and seated to my left in the front row is Whitworth alumnus and parent Andy Robley, who is also a member of the Whitworth University Board of Trustees. And as you know, members of our board provide faithful leadership, sustaining prayer, and financial resources to the university. Thank you, Andy, for leading the processional and for your leadership at this university. On my left on the stage sits Whitworth's Quasquicentennial Cone. There's a description of this beautiful piece of art, and that can be found in your programs, along with useful information about the pageantry of today's ceremony. This afternoon's ceremony marks the culmination of a rich and full weekend of activities. We've had a chance to celebrate the many and varied achievements of this class and their significant contributions to the life and mission of Whitworth University. We've also had a chance to worship together this morning at Baccalaureate, celebrating God's care and blessings upon the class of 2024. Significantly, this ceremony formally concludes years of rigorous study at Whitworth. All of the students before you have worked diligently to fulfill their substantial degree requirements. And on behalf of the faculty and staff of Whitworth, I congratulate each of you. Way to go, class of 2024. You have done it. Now, I'd like to pause here for a moment for a special recognition. Sadly, there is someone not here today that we wish to honor. Our 2024 graduating class is absent one of their fellow students, Jenna Sunrise Nelson. Jenna was an education major and in her final year at Whitworth when she passed on August 4th, 2023 due to health complications. Jenna's mother shared that since Jenna was very young, her heart's desire was to teach children. Her longtime friend and classmate and current graduate as well, Colin Fennick, shared that Jenna lit up spaces she occupied and exhibited Jesus' love and care for everyone in a tangible way. And we have a seat in the front row with Jenna's commencement gown and diploma in her honor. And a number of Jenna's family are here with us today in the audience. So would you please join me in recognizing Jenna Sunrise Nelson and her family. Thank you. I'd now like to recognize that two of our graduating seniors, Anders Johnson and Matthew Verschure, would you please stand, gentlemen, who received their commissions as second lieutenants in the U.S. Marines and the United States Army, respectively. Second Lieutenants Verschure and Johnson received a specially struck Whitworth service coin at a post-commissioning ceremony on Whitworth's campus Friday. Also, all of our veteran graduates will be wearing white stoles today to honor their service. So we congratulate you, Matthew and Anders, and we thank you for all of the service, and we thank all of the service members and veterans who are graduating today for your service to our country. Thank you. Now, let me take a moment to introduce the stage party so you know who's who and who's doing what, working from the far left towards me. They are Senior Lydia Roloff, who will read a scripture passage, Cesar Galvan, who will preside the land acknowledgement statement, ASWU President and student speaker Georgia Goff, VP of Student Life Rosetta Rhodes will offer a closing words to our very soon-to-be newest Whitworth alumni, you, Dean of the School of Education, School of Health Sciences, Dr. Mike Ediger, Associate Provost, Dr. Stacy Withrow Hill, Dr. Elise Leal Henriksen, who is our commencement speaker. Providing our invocation is the Reverend Steffi Nobles Beans. Dean of Spiritual Life, Dr. Forrest Buckner, will provide the benediction. Senior and student speaker Brant Hodgson, student Nikayla Nye, who will also read scripture, and Brendan Hill will lead us in the singing of a hymn and the alma mater, accompanied by Isaac Price, who is seated below me. So there you go. That's the roster of people up here. And finally, I'd like to welcome Whitworth's 17th president, Dr. Bill Robinson, sitting in the front row with my wife, Janice. Bill and Bonnie are the best of the best. His legacy is unmatched at this institution. So thank you, Bill, for being here. I now invite Cesar Galvan to come forward and provide the land acknowledgement statement, after which Steffi Nobles-Beans will provide our invocation.
As followers of Christ, we are called to act justly, love mercy, and to walk humbly with God. It is our love of God and neighbor that leads us to offer the following statement. Ahest Sulhalt. Welcome, everyone. We acknowledge that we gather today on the traditional homelands of the 4 bands of the Spokane tribe of Indians, Sintut Uliuh, Sin Jomene, Sketsikthni, and Chwile. Since time immemorial, the Spokane tribe of Indians has lived prosperously on this land, identifying themselves as Skeluh, or flesh of the land. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and acknowledge their continuing connection to the land, waters, and culture. We honor God with gratitude for the land itself and for the peoples who have fished, hunted, harvested, and gathered here for generations. This acknowledgement recognizes the first custodians of this land, the suffering they endured, and the continued restoration and healing needed. It is important to understand the history that has brought us to reside here, because such understanding fosters a more united community that honors and embraces the first peoples of Spokane. We thank the Spokane tribe members for sharing their stories, culture, and language to develop this welcome. Lemlemch She Uhoy. Thank you.
Let us pray. Spirit of the living God, we thank you for the completion of another academic year and for giving us the opportunity, short though it may have been, to play a part in the lives of our students and our new graduates. We are grateful for your guidance and love as we shared in this important work. Please bless and guide our graduates as they reach this end and as they chart new beginnings. May what they have learned by being here with us allow them to truly be shining examples for others. May what we have learned from them enable us to be the same. Please help them to use all that they have learned here to make the world a better place, to serve others in true solidarity and kinship, to seek ways to help the poor and the marginalized, and those who are suffering, and to always seek the greater good. We know that some of them will experience pain and hardship, and we know that some of them already have, and we ask you to grant them solace and strength. Finally, we thank you, Spirit of the living God, for giving us the opportunity to build our community with these amazing young men and women while they are here. Though they are leaving our campus, we know that they will always be with us as part of the Whitworth family. And we ask the bonds that have been created here remain strong despite any distance. We ask all of this in the name of our Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Ecclesiastes 2, verses 1 through 11. I said to myself, "Come now, I will test you with pleasures to find out what is good," but that also proved to be meaningless. Laughter, I said, is madness, and what does pleasure accomplish? I tried cheering myself with wine and embracing folly, my mind still guiding me with wisdom. I wanted to see what was good for people to do under the heavens during the few days of their lives. I undertook great projects. I built houses for myself and planted vineyards. I made gardens and parks and planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. I made reservoirs to water groves of flourishing trees. I bought male and female slaves and had other slaves who were born in my house. I also owned more herds and flocks than anyone in Jerusalem before me. I amassed silver and gold for myself and the treasures of kings and provinces. I acquired male and female singers and a harem as well, the delights of a man's heart. I became greater by far than anyone in Jerusalem before me. In all this, my wisdom stayed with me. I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all of my labor, and this was the reward for all of my toil. Yet, when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind, for nothing was gained under the sun.
Matthew chapter 16, verses 25 through 26. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul?
Prior to joining the Whitworth faculty in 2018, Dr. Elise Liel Henriksen earned a BA in Communication from Regent University, an MA in History from Texas State San Marcos, and her PhD in History from Baylor. Her scholarly research focuses on the intersection between cultural formation and religious belief and practice, particularly in relation to gender, childhood, and social reform in the late 18th and early 19th century United States. As a classroom teacher, Dr. Liel Henriksen helps students to become effective investigators, equipping students to use the past to contextualize the present, to be informed citizens within diverse communities, and to develop the self-awareness needed to be agents of positive change. It was no surprise that she was recognized as a 2023 Younger Scholar in American Religion and selected for a prestigious fellowship. That is just one among several honors she has received. All that to note, this year's commencement speaker is a superb teacher, an inspiring mentor, an award-winning scholar and historian, and she is known by her colleagues as, and these are comments from her colleagues, I asked, she is known by her colleagues as a brilliant and service-minded administrator, a gifted writer, and is a deeply committed Christian scholar who represents the very best of our talented faculty. One student said this, Dr. Liel Henriksen made me love history more than I ever thought I could. Her passion for history is contagious. Please welcome our commencement speaker, Dr. Elise Liel Henriksen.
Good morning, class of 2024. Good morning, family and friends. Thank you, Scott, for that incredibly generous introduction and for giving me the honor of speaking with you all. So today I'm going to ask you all one question, and I'm going to ask it of you 3 times throughout this speech. Would you rather live a significant life or a meaningful one? So last summer, we all lived through an historic and culture-defining moment, the release of the blockbuster movie, Barbie. If you've seen the film, you'll remember one of the turning point scenes near the beginning. The Barbies are all enjoying an idealized slumber party, complete with coordinating outfits, immaculately styled hair, and choreographed dancing. During all this revelry, stereotypical Barbie with her perfect blonde hair and flawless makeup asks, plastic smile on her face without warning, "Do you guys ever think about dying?" With that, the music comes to a screeching halt, the dancing stops, and stereotypical Barbie becomes irrepressible thoughts of death Barbie, setting her on a transformative journey to find her ultimate purpose. I come to you today in the spirit of irrepressible thoughts of death Barbie to ask, hey, have you ever thought about death? After all, to state the obvious, to be human is to be mortal. The one thing that unites all of us here today, despite our other differences, is that we are finite. Now, at this point, I can sort of sense President McQuilkin panicking a little about his decision to ask me to be the speaker. This is not the typical self-congratulatory, easy, breezy material many of you expect from the genre of commencement address. In his defense, I did not tell him that I intended to appear before you all as irrepressible thoughts of death, Barbie. But bear with me, please, for the next 13 minutes or so, because I want to take you on a brief journey in and through our shared mortality. To talk about death is to talk about human limits, of finitude. Our self-help industry generates billions of dollars every year on the promise that if you just adopt the correct meditative practice, apply the right influencer-branded skin product, or work hard enough at manifesting your dreams, you can become the idealized version of yourself. The shiny, glossy, toned, attractive, stereotypical Barbie or Ken doll of your dreams. We are a culture anxiously engaged in maximizing the present. The present, unlike beginnings and endings, seems limitless. You can make of it what you want, making the bookends of birth and death feel like dismissible realities. In contrast, many of the great works of art and literature have stood the test of time precisely because they demand that we face our shared mortality. The passage from Ecclesiastes that we just heard is one of these timeless pieces because it names something irrepressibly true about the human experience. Here we see an individual known as the preacher seeking worthwhile pursuits, happiness, community, a comfortable standard of living, and a desire to find, as the passage says, what was good for people to do under the heavens during the few days of their lives. Note that the preacher is no fool. Rather, the preacher repeatedly asserts that wisdom guides their pursuits. But as they evaluate their life, the preacher is ultimately left with an overwhelming sense of their own finitude and the futility that comes with it. Yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun. Nothing was gained. This is a statement about significance, about recognizable achievement, about status, power, life goals, 5-year plans, dream jobs, and soulmates. It is about the pursuit of gaining the world, as the world tells you what you need to be happy and successful. Nothing was gained. When was the last time you heard those words quoted in a commencement address? I'm a historian, specifically a historian who studies the writings of women and children from hundreds of years ago, which means that I spend a lot of time trying to inhabit the worlds of people that pretty much everyone else has forgotten. And one of the things that I've learned from these forgotten women and children is that our current culture's intentional ignorance about death and finitude is abnormal. In fact, the dark words of the preacher are reflective of how previous eras of human history stared death and finitude directly in the face. To take one example, in the wake of the Black Plague, a pandemic that wiped out up to 1/3 to 1/2 of Europe's population in the mid-1300s, the immediacy of death produced a new literary genre known as the ars moriendi, a Latin phrase that means art of dying. And its basic proposition is that to prepare for the ever-present reality of death, we must first contemplate how to live well in light of death's reality. Dr. Lydia Dugdale, who wrote a whole book on what the ars moriendi has to teach us today, explains that this means, quote, recognizing your finitude and wrestling with related questions of meaning and purpose within the context of a community. Did you catch that? Recognizing finitude prompts contemplation of meaning and purpose. For that reason, on celebratory days like today, as a new chapter of life opens to you, tapping into irrepressible thoughts of your finitude is actually the most fitting thing we could possibly do, because it demands that we ask if there is a better way to go about being human. So, friends, I ask you the question for a second time. Would you rather live a significant life or a meaningful one? I think that this question is related to the questions that Jesus raises in our passage from the Gospel of Matthew. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul? To gain the whole world. What a beautiful temptation. Who wouldn't want to manifest that vision for their life? And yet, Jesus places a giant red question mark on this aspiration. And in the surrounding context of the passage, Jesus tells his followers that they must give up living for themselves. They must take up crosses, burdens, vocations that point them to the good and faithful life. They must follow someone other than themselves. As a Christian, for me, that someone is Jesus. But even as I stand firmly grounded in my Christian identity, I recognize that I'm speaking to a very diverse audience who might locate their source of truth and meaning around another individual or tradition. I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but I do invite you to think with me about how Jesus' unrelenting question might apply to all of us. So let's bring it a little closer to home. Whitworth's motto is, honor God, follow Christ, and serve humanity. Even if all three of the imperatives in this motto don't resonate with you, I want to highlight the broader vision it casts for your degree. It suggests that the purpose behind the liberal arts education you received is to aim you at a life designed for something bigger than self-actualization. Historically speaking, only a small percentage of the population has even been able to receive a university education. You are now among these honored few. You and those who supported you in your journey have sacrificed immeasurable amounts of time, money, and energy to bring you to this moment. And you did it in a time of massive cultural and political instability, to say nothing of the COVID-19 pandemic. You have accomplished a hard and wonderful thing. And believe me when I say that I'm so very, very proud of each and every one of you. But now comes the really hard part. Your time at Whitworth has prepared you to accomplish significant things in the world. And despite what you might think from what I have already said, I do actually hope that you will aim for significant achievement, because the world desperately needs you to do so. The world needs writers, artists, musicians, and other creatives to orient us toward the things that facilitate human flourishing: beauty, goodness, and truth. The world needs leaders in government, business, and law who will fight for justice in the face of violence, inequity, and environmental degradation. The world needs scientists and medical practitioners who will marshal the wonders of chemistry, biology, physics, engineering, and health sciences to improve lives across the globe. The world needs specialists in psychology and sociology, history and philosophy, theology and English, who can bring the riches of intellectual inquiry to bear on generating creative solutions to the ethical, ideological, and societal challenges facing our generation. These are lofty goals, but it is using your liberal arts education in these ways that allows you to lay aside your own life in favor of service. And here is where I think we might begin to understand the difference between significance and meaning. But first, let me tell you a very personal story. In January of 2023, in the middle of what was for many your senior year, my 12-year-old sister, Ella, died unexpectedly. Anyone who has encountered a death so dear, so intimate, so unjust, as I know that so many of you have in so many ways, will know what I mean when I say that I felt smothered under the oppressive weight of a life that I somehow had to continue in the wake of profound loss. I found myself desperately wishing that I could trade any significant achievement of my own for a meaningful interaction with my sister. If I could give up every stellar student evaluation for the chance to make her laugh again, I would. If I could choose to spend less time writing an award-winning article to watch her paint a pink butterfly, which was one of her favorite activities, I would. All the shiny, glossy, stereotypical markers of success and professional glory grew so very dim for me. Grief never vanishes, but its shadow does recede, leaving you changed in ways you cannot anticipate. When you come face to face with finitude, with the end, our original question takes on a new light. So I'll ask you for a final time. Would you rather live a significant life or a meaningful one? I am now compelled to answer that I want a life of meaning. If that means I fail to gain the world, if that means my words are soon forgotten like the women and children I study, if that means I spend one more afternoon painting pink butterflies, one more year developing intimate friendships, one more lifetime falteringly trying to follow in the footsteps of Jesus, my soul will be safe at rest. So, as I begin to conclude, do y'all ever think about dying? A more reflective way to put Barbie's question is this: how can I live a meaningful life that prepares me for a good end? How should my story conclude, knowing that I do not control my own life narrative? I'm still working to fully answer these questions, but for me, the start is living each day with a sense of my own mortality and that of others, not in a way that makes me anxious about loss, but as motivation to make my self-actualization secondary to caring for my neighbor, even in the most mundane moments, to lose my own life so that I might find my life in service of others. Some practical advice I've tried giving to myself. Instead of replying to one more email as I walk the campus loop, maybe I can look up and see who is passing, so I can offer a hello and a smile in the hopes of brightening their day. Maybe instead of rushing to the first agenda item in a meeting, I can ask the person in front of me how they're doing and actually listen to their response, in the hope of letting them know that someone wants to be fully present in whatever is going on in their life. Maybe instead of letting pettiness consume me when my colleagues or students behave in irritating ways, I can instead make space for the possibility that they might be going through something difficult. Maybe I can try to tend to the communities around me with the same intensity with which I pursue my lofty, world-changing goals, knowing that at the end of the day, the things that really make the most sustained impact on the world are the moments when we choose relationship, the moments when we choose love. Those of you who know me know that I certainly fail at these efforts far more than I succeed. But the point, though, is that every day I have a choice, as each of you also has a choice. You can choose to gain the world, and some actually do, but I'm not sure they are happier for it. The harder but more meaningful choice is to see every friend, every neighbor, every stranger, every enemy, as a human being made in the image of God. Every human being, like me, has a beginning, a present, and an end. And I can choose to use the present to recognize their finitude and celebrate their personhood, no matter how different or irritating or odd they may seem to me. I would have wanted every person who ever encountered Ella to treat her with this dignity. I am compelled, then, to choose to do the same. So, class of 2024, live in the light of this calling. You are not your own. You live in a world you did not create and do not control. Yet you have been given a time and a place to live a life worth living. Do not give this great gift away. Thank you again for the honor of speaking to you, and congratulations, class of 2024.
If you are able, please rise and join me in the singing of the hymn. Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever wilt be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Summer and winter and springtime and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses above, join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, mercy, and love. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Pardon for sin and a peace that endureth, thine own dear presence to cheer and to guide, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow, blessings all mine with 10,000 beside. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. You may be seated.
I'd like to introduce our two student speakers. Georgia Goff will be first. Georgia is from Spokane Valley, Washington, and she is graduating with a degree in history and a minor in theology. She will begin Whitworth's Master's in Teaching program this summer. Following her will be Brant Hodgson, a veteran of the United States Marine Corps and the United States Army. He's from Greenville, South Carolina, and he is graduating with a degree in communication.
Good morning, everyone. I would first like to begin my speech with a resounding thank you for the blessing that it is to share in this moment with you here today. I also want to thank my family, friends, and mentors who have made it possible for me to thrive in the ways that I have. Most importantly, I want to thank my God, who has lovingly created and sustained me. May our lives be a reflection of his goodness and grace. With that being said, my name is Georgia, and something that most of you don't know about me is that I'm a twin. My twin brother, Ashton, is my best friend and has managed to put up with me literally since day one. My younger sisters, Kendall and Cameron, are also twins, and despite their craziness, I've never been so proud of anyone. You might be wondering why I mention them here today and what that has to do with graduation, but bear with me. For those of you who don't know, roughly 50% of twins will develop their own form of language while they are infants. In a phenomenon called cryptophagia, only the children themselves can understand what is being said, and many of them will eventually outgrow it as they learn the language or languages spoken by their parents. For my brother and I specifically, I'm often told about the names we had for one another in our own secret language. My name was Joe, and his name was Doe. Clearly, very creative names. Nevertheless, he would only respond to me when I said it. My parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, everybody, all tried, but I was the only one who could reach him when it came to the name Doe. When I think about my experience here at Whitworth and all that I have learned here, I think about my brother and our secret language. I believe that Whitworthians also share in our own secret language. For example, we are the only ones who knows what it means to bump into friends along the hello walk. We know what it means to feel protected from the outside world by the pine cone curtain, and I would argue we are the only ones crazy enough to get excited over picking the splinters out of our hands that signify a successful catch of a virgin pine cone. Similarly to twins, though, there comes a time when we are expected to grow up. As we learn the languages spoken by those around us, we find ourselves using our own language less and less. We may even forget certain parts of it as we continue to learn and grow in our future careers, families, and experiences as we move away from this place. I personally don't remember anything from the language my brother and I shared other than what I'm told about by my family. What I do remember, though, is the bond that we had. We may not remember exactly what classes we took, the crazy schedules we once tried to manage, or the number of times we had instant noodles for dinner. But we will remember the bonds that we created here. We will remember the lessons of life that we learned during those late night study sessions, or those traditions that we shared within our residence halls. We will remember the laughter we shared in the dining hall, or the life-changing discussions we had with a professor. You may even remember the struggle to find a decent parking space on the way to class. But we will also remember that for a short time, we all once shared this space, this community, and this language. In this sense, we are all intimately connected in our own way, and because of this, I want to give you a gift. But before I do that, I feel that there is something I must confess to you. When I was first told that I was being considered to speak here today, I admittedly had no idea what I wanted to say. I have been blessed to speak at various functions here at Whitworth and in our greater community on behalf of this institution, and during these times, speaking usually came quite easily to me. I knew what I wanted to say and how to portray it eloquently. But now, as I am preparing to take the leap beyond Whitworth, I find myself speechless. For those of you who know some pretty chatty people in your lives, you know how rare it is to find them this way. And yet here I was, speechless. So I did what any other college student would do, and I went to YouTube. I searched the words graduation speech in hopes that I could find something to just get the ball rolling a little bit. And each time I looked, there was one that was always at the top of the suggested list of videos. This video was a video of Fred Rogers, better known as Mr. Rogers, speaking to the students of Dartmouth College. In this speech, he shared with his audience the gift of a silent minute. 1 minute wherein he asked his audience to think about the people who helped them get to where they were. 1 minute to reflect on those who helped shape us into who we are today. As difficult, fun, stressful, and beautiful as our time was in college, as we developed our own language with one another, it wouldn't have been possible without those who have loved and supported us throughout this journey. Therefore, I would like to take a page out of Mr. Rogers' book and ask that we also share in the gift of 1 silent minute. I will watch the time. Thank you for sharing in this moment with me. It was just after this practice that Mr. Rogers would typically ask his audience to imagine how happy those folks would feel to know that when you were thinking of those who supported and loved you, you thought of them. The fact of the matter is, once we leave this place today, we will be speaking our own language less and less. We will be asked to learn new ones go new places, and come up with new ideas. But my hope is that what you do remember are the people you met, the lessons you learned, and the experiences we shared here in this place. I pray that no matter what lies ahead of you, you will always be able to look back at your time here at Whitworth with great fondness and great joy. And I know that what lies ahead of you is even greater than what you could ever imagine. Thank you, and God bless.
Good morning, everyone. Will you please join me in extending some well-deserved congratulations to our graduates? My name is Brant, and while many of you may not recognize me, I'm honored to stand before you today as a commencement speaker. I'm 31 years old, and for most of my 20s, I had the privilege of serving in the United States military, serving as a Marine and a soldier. Thank you. I came to Whitworth in the spring of 2021, having never visited Spokane or the Northwest. And to tell a long story short, I'm glad I did. As a communication major, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to share a few words with you all. While this is my first time delivering a commencement speech and quite possibly my last, I wanted to share 3 pieces of encouraging wisdom with you before you head on to take on graver challenges and even more remarkable achievements. The first thing I'd like to share with you came from one of my sergeants in the Marine Corps. He told us, every person you meet can provide you with 2 things: an example of what not to be, and a way of solving problems that you've never seen before. This advice requires a certain level of discernment, but it has shaped my approach to learning and growth, reminding me that every boss, every job, every day, good or bad, allows us numerous opportunities to grow. Just keep in mind that you are also someone that other people will have to meet. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. That's not my second point, but you can keep it for free. With that said, if you'll forgive me, I'd like to ask for some crowd participation. Will everybody please turn your head so that your chin is hovering over your left shoulder? My right. Thank you. And slowly and smoothly, will everybody now turn their heads to the opposite shoulder? Thank you. Keeping your head on a swivel helps us maintain awareness and adaptability, which are essential in dangerous situations and when navigating life's challenges. Sorry. Whether physically or mentally, keeping your head on a swivel is critical to understanding your surroundings and maintaining awareness. You may not be able to cross the bridge before you get to it, but realizing it's there ahead of time will doubtlessly aid your crossing. Lastly, I'd like to share something with you that I learned the hard way. Don't be afraid to quit. If I had never quit, I'd probably be a rollerblading car hop serving Route 44 slushes at Sonic. If I had never quit, I wouldn't be graduating today and moving towards the goals that I have now for my future. What I learned most poignantly, again and again throughout my 20s, is that I can always quit, but I can never give up. Not everything in life will lead where you think it does, especially at the offset. While I hope everyone here goes on to great things, I hope you remember, you can quit. Never give up. Remember that every opportunity, every encounter offers a unique learning opportunity. Keep your head on a swivel. Awareness is key to understanding its success. Quit all you want. We're probably all glad that we didn't for this. And congratulations. May you find fulfillment in all your endeavors. May God bless you as you step into uncharted waters. Thank you. Sko Bucks.
I'm pleased to present the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees. Will the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Business Administration please stand? That's you. Mr. President, these students are candidates for commencement participation and have been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees in the state of Washington, I do hereby confer upon you, at the completion of degree requirements, the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, or Bachelor of Business Administration with all the rights and honors appertaining thereto. In recognition of the completion of this milestone, please move the tassel on your cap from the right side to the left side. You may be seated.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degrees please come forward at this time? I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Stephanie Ely Martin, Director of Business Programs in the School of Continuing Studies.
The School of Continuing Studies, in partnership with the School of Business, is pleased to present the following candidates for degrees. Earning a Bachelor of Arts in Business Management, Stormy Anderson. Najibullah Atei. Joff Daly. Eric Davidson. Jennifer Fanto. Skylar Harrison. Lydia Roloff. Jordan Eric Schumacher. Earning a Bachelor of Arts in Management and Accounting, Gregory Sean Harmon. Earning a Bachelor of Arts in Organizational Management, Erin Marie Foss. Jasper Grayson. Dylan Holbrook. Carissa Ortiz. And David Lee Rodarte, Jr.
I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Megan Helton, Director of the Teacher Certification Programs in the School of Continuing Studies.
The School of Continuing Studies, in partnership with the School of Education, is pleased to present the following candidates for their degrees. Earning a Bachelor of Arts in Elementary Education, Courtney Rochelle Alder. Kimberly Ann Albee. Matthew Bean. Haley Cabbage. Catherine Kanata. Chelsea Kovich. Catherine Lemons. Linnea Pfeiffer. L. Rachel Scott. Amy Ann Sherman.
Ms. Deidre Kelly, Assistant Dean in the School of Continuing Studies.
The School of Continuing Studies, in partnership with the College of Arts and Sciences, is proud to present the following candidates for their interdisciplinary degrees. Receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Human Services, Amanda Abelman. Robin Bailon. Joshua Lewis Bell. Cindy Rose Bowling. Lisa Foster. Cesar A. Galvin. Autumn Rose Longley. Derek Gerald Moore. Receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Humanities, Tara Renee Hill. Jordan James Schaefer. Lisa Christine Tiano. Receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Public Service Administration, Christian Levici.
I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Katie Kreitz, Chair of the Department of Art and Design.
It is with great pleasure that the Art and Design faculty present these fine artists and designers. Their work is going to brighten your world. With a Bachelor of Arts in Art, Kendall Cavan. David Chavez Mariscal. Tessa Jane DuPont. Kathleen Marie Gates. Christine Abigail Hudson. Ian Thomas Kendall. Natalie Ann Popkowitz. Corey Schumann. Jacob Mensch Simonson. Christopher Weitzel. With a Bachelor of Arts in Art History, Bethany Johnson. And with a Bachelor of Arts in Front-End Design Development, Alondra Rodriguez Villarreal.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Erin Putsky, Chair of the Department of Biology.
I present to you the next generation of budding biologists, the Bachelor of Arts in Biology, Asante Christian Emmanuel Prince Elijah, Madison Butler, Christian Capone Grant, Morgan Gunther, Tyler Hetty, Miley Kelly, Nay Ta, the Bachelor of Science in Biology, Yemi Strach Alemne Bekalu, Talia Blasco, Abby Gail Burton, Joshua Logan Estes, Ben Galloway, Chelsea Gonzalez, Sophie Renee Halma, Mackenzie Hansen, Madison Ann Jones, Quinlan Jordan, Cole Knudsen, Riley Lamb, Sydney Larson, Abby Lloyd, Jackson John Luders, Hannah Newberger, Lauren Penner, Carrie Lynn Rooney, Brielle Russell, Kendall Sandhop, Eric Igor Shaporta, Aiden Smith, Natalie Stevens, Caitlin Teeter, Anastasia Tishenko, Corinne Elizabeth Basiloff, and Willow Vaughn.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. David Sloan, Chair of the Department of Business and Economics.
The School of Business is pleased to present these amazing future business leaders with the Bachelor of Business Administration, Brian Acevedo Prado, Hudson Andrews, Jahangir Ayupov, Bazard Barami, Jessica Ann Irene Bai, Melissa Bylan, Jordan Bender, Zachary James Bevins, Matthew Lee Buckley, Mitchell Burwell, Nicholas Caballero, Davis Campbell, Bjorn Arthur Carlson, Emma Cathers, Aaron Clogston, Caleb Coffey, Justin Connor, Anthony De Leon, Joseph Del Carlo, Luke Dobler, Joshua Dahl, Sarah Elizabeth Doncevic. Hunter Dryden. Morgan Erickson. Madeline Elizabeth Hahn. Jacob Robert Harris. Elijah Harrinan. Jake Koki Holtz. Hoelehua Jackson. Isaiah Jones. Tara Kenashiro. Faith Elizabeth Kerner. Christopher Knutson. Raja Lynn Kuikiki. Dylan Thomas Cook. Jack Michael Leary. Vincent Lee. Spencer David Little. Jenna Lynn Lloyd. Garrett Long. Zach Lovelace. Victor Lucas. Jordan Lungo. Jamin Manzi. Hunter Michael McCloskey. Shayla Ann Melendez. Sullivan Duke Menard. Ryan Oleg Mitchell. Jarvis Natividad. Haley Montoya. Jarvis. Samantha Eliza Nieta. Oliver Nordberg. Anthony James Parrish. Braden Parker. Riley Pace. Samuel Pauly. Colin Fenning. Tristan Piper. Jacob Robley. Elijah Rollins. Isaiah Joseph Schmidt. Joseph Smith. Joshua Siemens. Sequoia Nicole Simmons. Javon Tade. Africa Tesfa. Nathan Philip Chelly. Dylan Robert Ventris. Rediate Wasihun. Jonah Weiser. Angela Jewel Wessel. Ikaika Hekili O Kalani E Kekai Mohala Hong Williams. Andrew Walatira. Logan Wright. And Bruce Yeager III.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Tricia Russell, Chair of the Department of Chemistry.
The Chemistry Department is pleased to present you the following critical thinking chemists. With a Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry, Aurora Kamashavu. With a Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry, Mariam Almafarachi. Kaylin Benton. Stephen Krupper. Suned Giari. Jaslyn Johnson. Madeline Grace Kyle. Caitlin Noel Koch. Madison Grace Korkiakowski. Andon Maldonado. Jet Manglona. Jorgen Midbow. Hannah Nemnick. Ari Paul. Trinity Pogue. Emma Roltkin. Stephanie Ryder. Christy Shaka. And Tamara Wolf.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Kevin Greaves, Chair of the Department of Communication Studies.
On behalf of the Department of Communication Studies, we're very pleased to present these outstanding communicators for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Communication. Katie Marie Chilcote. Catherine Fevin Christensen. Abigail Davenport. Denali Herrick. Solomon Hines. Brant William Hodgson. Emerald Maple. Riley Morrison. Lazarus Ford Ichiro Sembahan Miura. Samuel Richard Teft.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Keith Lambert, Associate Professor of Education.
The School of Education is beyond proud to present tomorrow's K-12 teachers. Miranda Alcalde, Sarah Anderson, Carson Ryder and Selma Monarch, Lauren Marie Arkills, Sydney Grace Ashbeck, Sarah Grace Bankhead, Alyssa Brueggemeyer, Madeline Buckley, Nolan Cartham, Anastasia Chloe Daniel, Larkin Dean, Julia Dillon, Brooke Disney, Julia Nari Farley, Fiona McConna Fitzpatrick, Chloe Hodge, Jay Hodge, Heather Holt, Kimberly Johnson, Annika Helene Johnson, Grace Johnson, Sydney Wei Ming Kao, Ava Kirst, Hannah Jo Keene, Carmen Martinez, Dominic Macion, Lydia McCroskey, Brianna Marie McNelly, Tatum Elizabeth Niemeyer, Amalia Pancoast, Alexa Leanne Ramirez, Olivia April Richards, Natalie Scott, Isabel Louise Smith, Taishay Smith, Hannah Sophia Sneed, Hans Taminga, Ezekiel Tayton, Faith Elizabeth Tobiasen, Ella Yael Tyler, Emma K. Weberling, Madison Lee Zwiefelhofer. For the Bachelor of Arts, Elementary Education Studies, Bailey Shelley. For the Bachelor of Arts, Secondary Education, Dylan Paul Ashbeck, Eric Burchill, Noah Carlson, Ellie Jean Erickson, Kainoa Daniel Figuera, Alyssa Diane Hamrick, Jared McDougall, Kate Nelson, Ariana Abigail Portner, Sammy Schaefer. For the Bachelor of Arts, Secondary Education Studies, Nicholas McDonald. And for the Bachelor of Arts, Special Education, Riley Baritone, McKenna Prattley.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Kamesh Sankaran, Chair of the Department of Engineering and Physics.
The Department of Engineering and Physics presents these following candidates for degrees. In Bachelor of Arts in Applied Physics, Christopher Boykin Terrell. Zachary S. Washburn. Bachelor of Arts in Physics, Anders Eric Johnson. Bachelor of Science and Engineering, Gregory C. Anderson. Nathan Cooper. Gabrielle Dillon. Micah Hale. Grant Bradley McDonald.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Casey Andrews, Professor of English.
The English department is proud to present the following recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Arts in English. Adrian Enrique Alvarez. Aaron Thomas Bratt. Gideon Koalani Clark. Brendan Cochran. Isaac Diatre. John Dotson. Brooke Gravera. Taylor McCarty. Theodore William Montag IV. Emma Sandra K. Moore. Megan Elise Necochea. Ryan Patrick Owsley. Casey Charles Prachu. Apelu Selim. Anna Claire Marie Spletstozer. Tyler Joel Van Gordon. Mira Elizabeth Weibel. Danny Wolf.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Grant Cassidy, Chair of the Department of Environmental Studies.
The faculty of the Environmental Studies program are honored to present the following Earthkeepers. With a Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Studies, Meredith Bedford. Mary Bunch. Malia Lou Trousel. With a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science, Luke Bumpus. Lucy Cook. Grace Cooper. Abby Dalabetta. Marie Fensky. Malachi Moore. Adria Paul. And Anuhea Strickland.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Elizabeth Abbey, Chair of the Department of Health Sciences.
The School of Health Sciences is pleased to introduce the following graduates. With a Bachelor of Arts in Community Health, Rebecca Grace Bauer. Gracelyn Marie Heminger. James Nelson Joseph III. Quincy Rigg. Logan McConnellani Spencer. Dayton Anthony Keola Maloa Tangoviloa Kualapai. With a Bachelor of Science in Health Science, Farah Al-Safar. Emma Elizabeth Baker. Allie Ball. McLean Chandler. Brooke Nicole Clinton. Malia Guadalupe Copado Robles. Jessica Deegan. Jacob Dowdy. Dawson Gray Striggs. Shalai Elaine Ellis Goings. Isaac Adam Fields. Jack Patrick Fields. Alyssa Fitzgerald. Michael Riley Flanagan. Lauren Gamlin. Justin William Geese. Shaylin Hafner. Callista Dawn Hall. Heidi Hill. Regan Horton. Abigail Hilton. Rebecca Irwin. Madeline Isabel Jennings. Kilaila Aolani Jones. Kristen Kahuivimanao Kaileva. Mina Nika Caleb. Kyla Komodo. Annika Blanca Lang. Isabella K. Layton. Magdalene Marie Lingao. Spencer Michael Lloyd. Lisa Lucero. Michaela Hope McGee. Janae A. Mercado. Marcely Morin. Aiden Morrison. Luca N. Moa. Udeze Princess Njoku. Virginia Bell Ulrich. Lucinda Marie Pearson. Kennedy May Robison. Josie Saline. Tyson Kuluai Santos. Cassidy May Stewart. Sierra Ray Vanderpool. Eunice Viatoshir Moa. Olivia Walker. Ashley Wallum. Quincy Winder. Delaney Woods.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Anthony Clark, Professor of History.
I present the following history-making historians: Katie Fitzpatrick, Georgia Louise Goff, Brady Michael Judd, Aubrey Parkinson, Isabel Scotland, Coulter Fernandez, Andrew Goodwin, Nathaniel Gray, Elena Guevara, Aaron Jonkers, Gabriel Shills, and Riley Wheeler.
Graduates are graduating with one-of-a-kind, individually designed majors. With a Bachelor of Arts in Social and Human Services, Emily Len Ben. With a Bachelor of Arts in Sports Psychology, Madison Hagan. With a Bachelor of Arts in Film and Visual Narrative, Peyton Ann Wyatt.
Pleased to introduce Dr. Kirk Wester, Chair of the Department of Kinesiology.
Department of Kinesiology and Athletics is excited to announce the following graduates: Taliti Adams, Chaz Evangelista, Veronica Green, Anthony Key, Elena McCartney Scoggin, Sarah Meckelberg, Lauren Rawls, Stacia Sardi, Khalif Weidman, Nathaniel Wilson.
I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Scott Griffith, Assistant Professor of Mathematics and Computer Science.
On behalf of my colleagues in the Math and Computer Science Department, I'm extremely privileged to introduce these future problem solvers. Earning a degree in Bachelor of Arts Computer Science, Latana Francis Akukwe. Jesse Arnold. Belgrasachen Barsachen. Patricia Tebetari. Brody Pete Gibson. Irene Richarla. Matthew Verschoor. Hunter James Williams. Earning a degree in Bachelor of Arts Human-Computer Interaction, Erin Marie Bell. Daviam Kaltar. Monkkoleg Teremperev. Ethan Wagner. Earning a degree in Bachelor of Arts Mathematics, Jacob Brandvold. Noah Frost. Renee Tiamalu. Earning a degree in Bachelor of Science, Applied Mathematics, Sydney Elizabeth Beers. John Romero. Dante Stokes. Andrew Simpson Tucker. Robert Jefferson Weiner. Earning a degree in Bachelor of Science, Bioinformatics, Jacob Jansen. Esther Ng. Earning a degree, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Emmanuel Ntone Anoka Yambe. Nathan Scott Atchison. Bhavesh Bhattani. Ang Deng. Owen Edward Foster. Jonathan Hamstra. David Lewis. Min Nguyen. Not Min Nguyen. Jay Phillips. Isaac Teo.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Sao Sha Lin, Assistant Professor of Music and Director of Choral Studies.
The music department is proud to present this remarkable, outstanding noisemaker, receiving Bachelor of Arts in Music, Sol Cuddy. Andrew C. Fewer. Richard Matthew Gagliardi. Lily Iverson. Receiving Bachelor of Arts in Music Education, Jason Christopher Biney. Mary A. Brown. Melody Marvelyn Gray. Natalie Erin Huo. And Nevaeh Meyer. Congratulations.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Keith Wyma, Chair of the Department of Philosophy.
It's my honor to present the graduates earning the Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy, emerging leaders for whom big picture vision, analytical problem solving, and out-of-the-box thinking are merely the minimal standard of their daily work. They are Logan Thompson Bateman, Eleanor Marie Jeffers, Hannah Abigail Kendall,
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Megan Hershey, Chair of the Department of Political Science.
The Department of Political Science is proud to present the following global citizens, peacemakers, and stalwart guardians of democracy. For the Bachelor of Arts in International Studies, Katie Elizabeth Barr. Alexis Monique Dubray. Johanna Galuska. Avery McGee Hunt. Danica Merritt Lundgren. Nina Marie Polishuk. Connor Russell Wodehouse. For the Bachelor of Arts in Peace Studies, Blakely Monet Rudolph. For the Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, Brittany Jane Botez. Ogla Theda Cortez. Timothy James Furr. Jamie Angelo Gassman. Abigail May Hahn. Cheyenne Lindsay Ko'onoi Anuhea Kapua. Kelsey Natasha Kauinohea Lopes Keolanui. Casey James Modrell. Nikayla Jane Nye. Laura Dedham Pearson. Jessica Nancy Rusconi. Josephine Odessa Scott. Rishika Sharma. Sophia Monica Faith Turning Robe.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Alicia Epps, Chair of the Department of Psychology.
On behalf of the Department of Psychology, we are proud to introduce the following bright minds and compassionate hearts for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Lahaina Aaronah, Prince Ugal, Brianna Albright,
Kimberly Anderton, Sarah Margaret Armstrong, Miriam Arai Sandoval Astorga, Eliana Marie Brenner, Annie Almira Grace Bros, Joanna Yadira Chavez Mendoza, Kimberly Marie Dewey, Cameron Ditter, Grant Lee Greenhall, Bailey Hack, Keller Raymond Harder, Brendan L. Hill, Ka Wing Ho, Carly Hofer, Sophia Carber, Madison Keller, Hannah Kircher, Audrey Marsh, Tyler W. Mason, Mia McGinnity, Sydney Lynn Nichols, Grace Olson, Rodrigo Orozco, Ainsley Marissa Ortega, Juan Jose Rodriguez, JC Shimamoto, Savannah Splickle, Leilani Sunyalo, Josiah Kahamalea Kua Vandergrund, Nathaniel Richard Vasiloff, Rachel Voyer, Ethan James Waring, Allison Williams, and Ian Wyma.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Jason Wolschlager, Chair of the Department of Sociology.
On behalf of the Department of Sociology, I'm proud to present the following candidates for a Bachelor of Art in Criminology and Criminal Justice. Kaylin Marie Feldhusen, Isaac Jansen, Connor Emerson O'Brien, Faith Lee Remfer, Cheyenne Sanford, Catherine Smith, Madison Louise Tofty. For a Bachelor of Art in Sociology, Layla Benzinger, Satara Busby, Anna Fiorella Cruz, Courtney Nicole Haupt, Nicole Marquis Lane, Michael McGee Hill, Aaron Scoggin, Emma Catherine Scott, So'o Fiamalia Lingue Vitali.
I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Chris Hansen, Lecturer in Theater.
The Department of Theater revels in setting the stage for the following one-woman show, receiving a Bachelor's of Arts in Theater, Lindsay Kenny.
I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Josh Lime, Associate Professor of Theology.
On behalf of the Theology Department, I am delighted to present this remarkable group of faithful and joyful Christian theologians for a Bachelor of Arts in Theology. Anna Davis, Aidan Speak, Michael Giovanni St. Marie, and Sabine Francis Euler.
To introduce Dr. Catherine Carr Carnejo, Professor of Spanish and Director of Latin American Studies.
Por parte de mis colegas en el Departamento de Lenguas y Culturas Mundiales, tengo el agrado de presentarles a los siguientes egresados con un título en español. On the behalf of the faculty in the Department of World Languages and Cultures, we are delighted to present these graduates with a Bachelor of Arts in Spanish. Henry Vernon Johnson. Corbin Dean Myring. Seth Ramos Miller. Josiah Santucci. And last but certainly not least, Abigail Wooster.
Please rise for the singing of the alma mater.
Whitworth we honor, proudly will be her sons and daughters, daring to see in her great vision, so true and just, our noble calling, our sacred trust. Hail, alma mater, we sing your praise. Hail, noble Whitworth, our colors raise, leading us onward, striving for right, drawing us upward into God's light.
You may be seated.
Good afternoon, class of 2024. I am so excited to see you walk across this stage. Thank you for allowing us to share in your excitement. You are now officially part of the more than 20,000 member Whitworth alumni family. Yes. Come on, let me hear it. Yes. Welcome to that distinguished group. Like those before you, you are smart, you are accomplished, and your future great promise. We cannot wait to see what you do in honoring God, following Christ, and in serving humanity. It is our custom to make these requests of our alumni, and so I will do that here and now. Please, come back to campus and say hello. Walk the grounds, step into your former classrooms and labs and studios. Visit the professors and staff members who played an important role in your lives. Be an ambassador for your alma mater. In your personal and professional circles, share about your Whitworth experience. Reflect well on this place. We know you will. Give back to your alma mater in various ways, when you are able. And that's service, mentorship for current students, providing internships, or financially. Pray for this place. Pray for our students. Pray for our employees, and pray for our mission. Again, welcome to the Whitworth alumni family, and God bless you all.
Please stand as you are able to receive this benediction. Go from here to live a life of meaning and purpose, empowered and led by the Spirit of Jesus to love God and love others, following Him in His mission to lay His life down as a ransom for many. As you participate in God's great redemptive work in the world, go from here knowing the love of this God, the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, and the fellowship of His Holy Spirit this day and all your days till we rest in Him. Amen. Audience, you may be seated, and please remain seated until all of the graduates have been able to head their way out. Thank you.